The Orange Zone, sponsored by Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks and Apex Entertainment.
Well, to start, you guys are both Syracuse students. What impact would you say that Kyle McCord made in 1 year?
Kyle McCord had a great season this year. It was very fun to watch him, especially in our senior year. You know, we had 9 wins, the best season we've had in our time here, and it'll be sad to see him go.
And for you as well, just what was the impact of Kyle McCord this season on Syracuse football?
I mean, he left his mark. He's only here for 1 year, as you said, but it felt like it's the start of something that's coming. It's going to be a great change, and he's the one that's helped lead this progression.
Forget about the wins for a second, all of the accolades. How did you feel like the students felt and the surrounding community about Syracuse football this year?
I think everyone rallied around Syracuse football, especially it being a new year for our coach. And, I mean, yes, the wins were there, but forgetting about them, it was just an overall great season. And I think also the dome environment with the new seats added to a great season.
Kind of along those same lines, just from a student's perspective, what was this year like in the dome, watching Kyle McCord and the success that Syracuse football had?
It was actually something I didn't get to experience. I was in Los Angeles the whole time, but I got to see the team in Berkeley, and I went to the bowl game, and they were 2-0 in those games, and it was great to actually watch the Orange in person.
One word that you would use to describe Kyle McCord?
Electric.
One word for you.
Magician.
Nice.
I like that a lot.
You're an Ohio State fan, true or not true?
True.
Boo. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But obviously, you know, knowing Kyle McCord's history, what do you think about the kind of quarterback that Kyle McCord was at Ohio State versus the one he became at Syracuse?
Very different. I had faith for him at Ohio State, and I honestly think that he got a bad rap there. There's a lot more pressure at Ohio State, and once he made it to Syracuse and had his own space to perform, he was able to perform at his full potential, and I think he did a great job at Syracuse coming from all the pressure at Ohio State.
How do you think that people viewed him at Ohio State? You said he got a bad rep.
Well, losing to Michigan won't give you a good name in Ohio, and so that was a tough loss for him. But I think coming to Syracuse gave him that clean slate, and you know the rest is history now, as he's kind of noted to on his Instagram.
Seeing what he's done now at Syracuse, do you think that people maybe rush to judgment at Ohio State about McCord?
I would say so, and I think that's just the Ohio State fan base. That's, you know, now being at Syracuse, I'd say I'm more of a Syracuse fan than Ohio State, and I'm just grateful to have seen him at both teams.
As a Syracuse student last winter, do you remember how you felt when McCord committed?
Oh, it was the most exciting moment I've had in 4 years because we haven't had a basketball team get to the finals or just the tournament at all. And just having this excitement, we take the little things into the joy, into consideration. And he turned this little thing into something really special, and we're really happy as students to have had to experience it this year.
And now after seeing what he's been able to do in a year's time, would you say that he met expectations or exceeded them?
He exceeded them, and he's going to continue to do that for the rest of he's going to be involved as he wants, and players have to step up as it goes, and I know they will, just based off his leadership.
Kyle McCord should never buy a drink again in Syracuse. True or not true?
Absolutely true.
I have 2 more questions, and then we can wrap it up. Now that Kyle McCord is headed to the NFL draft, do you think that Fran Brown can replicate the kind of success he had in his first season?
I think he can. He's got a much more difficult schedule next year, which will be interesting to follow as an alumni. But I truly believe in his recruiting, his coaching staff, his team, the raw talent that we've seen this year. I'm just really hoping the defense can pick it up, but I got faith.
Last but not least, would you go as far as to say that Syracuse is a football school now, or it's too soon?
Since we haven't been to we're about to be a class, the first class I believe since 1972, to not make it to March Madness in our 4 years as a student. I'd say we're a football school.
Okay, you heard it here first. In terms of those, one more question for you as well. In terms of the precedent that Kyle McCord set for Syracuse football in the Fran Brown era moving forward, what would you say that the next starting quarterback has to do to kind of meet that precedent?
Just be yourself. Kyle looked like he was having fun out there, and that's all you really needed to do as a quarterback. You're the leader out there. Everyone's going to play to what you're doing, so just go be yourself, and everyone will do their job.
How long have you been following Syracuse football?
Really when I started working here, because they're a big part of what we do here, since we are the sports bar in downtown Syracuse. And especially when they started coming in for the recruitment program. That's when I really started following. And to see them do well and want to care about the team so much by bringing them here every single weekend for whole recruitment season really showed that they want to take this team all the way. And when they do good, we do good. So I really started following when they were here and I got to interact with all the coaches and everything like that.
I actually want to make sure I understand what you mean by that.
Yeah.
On the recruiting visits, were they always bringing people into the hotspot? Was this a private party situation?
So it was private party. I usually bartended them, and they would bring in coaching staff, new recruits. I passed out, I can't even count how many Shirley Temples, because that's their drink of choice. I made pictures of it for the guys, and every weekend it was different recruits, different people, all the coaching staff, and we all had a great time, and it really showed how much they want to see the program improve. So I can't count how many recruits they brought in here, just trying to make the program better so that we can all enjoy them as more than we already do.
Did you form, like, during those visits, relationships with any of the coaching or coaching staff in particular that you would say stuck out to you?
Oh, a few of the coaches do come back. I'm terrible with names, but they do come back and see me. I know what they drink because that's what I do. But yeah, I've made a few good connections with them, and it's always good to see them. They always come back, and they're always bringing more people in here to try and better downtown Syracuse through Syracuse football.
Beyond just the recruiting parties, you mentioned, obviously Kyle McCord leaving, going to the draft now.
Yes.
But you said, when there's a really great Syracuse football team, then there's also more business.
Yes.
What would you say the business was like this year?
Oh, business was booming. And when we win, they win, and vice versa. Like, the entire city explodes with excitement when they win. And us everywhere down here could tell. Because, like, when it's a bad day, everyone gets it. But when it's a good day, we're all having a good time. We're all out here partying and supporting the team because it just shows how much we want to see them win as much as they want to see themselves win. So it brought a whole lot of people down here for the entire season just because of how well they did this year. So it was really good to see a full bar all the time because of Syracuse football.
On the Kyle McCord front, obviously that's what we're here talking about a little bit. Just what would you say he brought to the team and the program this season?
With how powerful of a quarterback he was, he really unified the team as a whole. He was the captain they needed for that team. He was just a powerhouse, and he empowered the entire team to just push forward, even if they were having tough games. Like, he is just a solid unit of a player, and to see him go after 1 year is unfortunate, but we had a good year because of him, and hopefully the team stays a little more unified because of the fact that he brought them together in such a way,
What happens to a community when they have a guy like Kyle McCord as their leader and Fran Brown at the helm?
Oh, it makes everyone support him even more because they know they have someone to push that ball down the field and just make it happen. Like, when there's key guys that make the game exciting, it makes fans really push and support and, like, try to have the best time they can wherever they are. If it's here, at their house, at the Dome, like, they're all just way more excited for the games than they have been in recent years just because of how unified and how well he led that team to, like, all the wins he had.
From your perspective, what kind of precedent did both Kyle McCord and Fran Brown together set this year, not only on the football field, but in the community as well?
That we're back. This is it. Like, we're the team that's gonna win. Like, just because he's gone doesn't mean those guys don't have what it takes in it. I mean, it's all together. It's a team. So he showed them that they could do it without him too. So it's just going to make it that much better going forward for a unified team to kind of just keep winning and keep having that mentality to just keep it going forward and keep getting more bowl games because we want those wins.
We know you have work, so I'll keep this as my last question, but I am just curious. You sort of mentioned this in what you were just saying. Now that Kyle McCord is gone, do you think that Fran Brown can continue to set that precedent that he did this year, and why?
I think he has that in him. I mean, I'm hoping McCord showed him enough to just keep that momentum going. And from what I've seen so far, like, he's got it in him. He's just got to be able to continue with that consistency and show his team that he can also do it. I think with how they played this season, that I think it's just going to be a continuation of good stuff because Kyle McCord showed him that we can do it, and he's just going to keep that with him. So we're hoping that it's just the same, just a different name.
I have one more for you, and then we'll let you go.
All right.
If Kyle McCord in, say, 10, 15 years, 5 years, were to sit down at the bar here, what would you say to him as both a fan and someone who's in this community?
I would shake his hand. I'd tell him thank you for bringing a good season and to keep that team alive and keep them going, because he did well with them. And I just tell him thank you.